Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students and viewers. In this session, we'll talk about Caesura. Caesura is derived from a Greek word which means a stop, a pause, or a break. And this pause or a stop occurs in a line of a poem. And a line of a poem is called a metrical line. And these stops are marked by either punctuation like comma or semicolon, or just after the boundary of a grammatical unit, or at the boundary of a grammatical unit there is a break, like after a phrase or a clause. So look at this example: this blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England. So you see, just after a noun phrase you have a caesura, you have a comma, again you have another phrase, this earth, this realm, and you have breaks or pauses. Let us have some more examples. So just after the first word you have a break or pause. Again, be not proud, you have a comma, that is a break. Again in the second line, mighty and dreadful, you have a comma, so there is a pause. No voice says my mother, again to me what? So here just after the first word you have an interrogation mark and a caesura. Dead, so again you have an exclamation mark. Again here you have at and also of. So these are examples of caesura. So mark the spelling please. So you see that in some line the stops happen to be at the beginning of the line, or sometimes it is in the middle of the line, or at the end of the line. And based on these features, caesura is of three types: initial, medial, and terminal. If the stop happens to be at the beginning of the line, it is called initial caesura. If it happens to be in the middle, it is called a medial caesura, and if it happens to be at the end, it is called a terminal caesura. There is another classification of caesura, and based on this aspect we have two types of caesura. One is feminine, another one is masculine. When the pause occurs after a non-stressed or and short syllable, we call this type of caesura a feminine caesura. For example, here you have a break after this clause, and just before this break you have ing, which is a short syllable and also non-stressed. That is why it's a feminine caesura. On the other hand, when the pause occurs following a long and accented syllable, this is called a masculine caesura. For example, death, this is a noun and this is a stressed one, and also it is a long one. Again, proud, this is a long one because it has a diphthong and also it is an accented syllable. So this caesura is called a masculine caesura. Here you have more examples. However, feminine caesura is divided into two types. One is lyric and another one is epic. Lyric feminine caesura is just the caesura or feminine caesura that we have discussed. That is, a lyric feminine caesura occurs following a non-stressed and short syllable. We have already discussed them. On the other hand, an epic caesura is somewhat different. An epic caesura occurs following a non-stressed and short syllable like the lyric, but this non-stressed and short syllable is not a regular syllable in that line or in that iambic line. So let's explain the example. Here you have 11 syllables in this line, and this is an iambic line. Iambic line means in a line you have two syllabic feet, that is, each two syllables form a meter or a foot. So if we have 5 feet here, but you see this one, this dur, this is an extra syllable, and again this is a non-stressed and a short syllable. This caesura or break occurs just after a non-stressed and short syllable, which is not a regular syllable of this iambic line, rather it is an extra syllable in this iambic line. So this caesura is called an epic caesura. Why do we use caesura? Why do we use caesura? Or what are the functions of caesura? Caesura makes the poem sound natural, because in real life we speak with lot of pauses and breaks. It represents or it reflects the real life use of language. It breaks monotonous rhythm and it makes the speech soothing or easier for us to understand, to follow easily. And finally, the least but not the last, we use caesura to emphasize a specific word, and by emphasizing a specific word we can convey a specific meaning. So that is why use of caesura is very important for conveying information and conveying message to the readers. So thank you very much for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.